Hello and welcome to Pixelated Realms Gamescast, your guide through the digital landscape, untangling the mysteries of your favorite titles and discussing the latest and greatest in video game fun. I'm your host, Alex Slater, and alongside me is my brother Tyler, my good friend Dustin, and our special guest Roy. What's up?
What's up? How's it going, everyone?
Hey, Roy, first time on the show. How does it feel?
Good to be here. What you guys are doing is pretty cool. I love to see it.
Thanks. Well, we're glad to have you. Normally, so we would be, going over our agenda and doing everything, but we're still going to do that. But we would do our recap, and then we would answer questions, and then we talk about our big topic. But because Summer Games Fest, IGN Live, the Xbox Showcase, everything just dropped and happened, we're going to totally throw that out the window. So this is going to be a different episode. We are going to talk about everything that's been announced, or not everything, but a lot of it. Talk about all the big things that got announced. We simply don't have time to go over everything. We're going to talk about what we can in the time that we have and discuss what we think about it.
Which might be a hard hour and 10 minutes, but we'll find
hard. For your
I didn't realize
convenience.
you were so close to your back door this whole time, because I don't think we've ever caught your slider in the picture before. I was like, oh, you live in the Bay Area, but actually have a backyard. Congratulations.
I don't have a backyard. I'm on the third floor. It's my balcony.
Okay. It's a balcony. Well, still, that's winning. That's still winning in the Bay.
You know what? I still like it as a nice breeze when it is warm.
Yeah.
Well,
it was like 90 here today.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot. But let's go ahead and dive right in, because we really are going to run this long. So, Tyler, let's jump off with Civ 7.
All right, so I think this one's pretty exciting for all of our Civ fans out there. I mean, I know I was corrected last stream on how long it's been since Civ 6 has come out, but it just doesn't even feel like that. Me and my friends still play Civ 6 occasionally, or some of them play it more than occasionally. So yeah, I mean, Civ 6 was, in my opinion, quite successful. Not perfect, but quite successful. So having Civ 7 ready to go is pretty exciting. They didn't give us any information. It was just a cinematic trailer. But hopefully that means in 2 to 5 years we'll get the new Civ 7. But yeah, either way, it's exciting.
I know, that's one of the things is with all these announcements is you never know how far, unless they have a release date, you never know how far these actually are. They are announcing a lot of these for the first time, and it's like, oh, I'm getting all excited, but it's going to be 3, 4, 5 years for some
a long time.
Who knows?
And some of the things we're going to talk about
Civ 6 is as a game, honestly. I'm looking at the photos, and I'm like, is this Sim City / fucking Command and Conquer or Risk?
It's a 4X game. You've never played a 4X game?
Boring parts of an RTS and put them in a game. That's civilization.
Can you can you murder people?
Blasphemy.
Do they get killed?
Why do you play video games? Oh my god. Civ 6 is the landmark 4X game. It's not Civ 6, but Civilization series in general.
I don't even know what 4X is.
It's like a grand strategy. Shoot, I feel stupid not knowing exactly what it stands for.
It's like a macro RTS. As opposed to an RTS, which is very micro.
You also usually have multiple ways of winning that are not just like war. So there'll be
it doesn't require your APM to be over 100, then it's not good.
Okay, wait. 4X is explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate.
As a top 50 Warcraft 3 ladder player, I need 100 plus APM.
Okay. Yeah, on a turn-based game. Okay, good luck.
Yeah. Sometimes games are supposed to relax you, Dustin.
That's what Sea of Thieves is for.
And take 8 hours, you know?
This is much more like Risk than it is
well, that's what I was saying, Risk / SimCity.
Kind of.
Civ it's not about city building. It's more like Settlers of Catan, kind of. If you've ever played that, it's about taking over a portion of the map and creating a strategy with the resources, land, and civilization you are to, dominate the world. It's a very diverse, very fun game. Could be kind of complicated, but it's worth it. And
I'll check it out if it's free to play.
Oh yeah, sure, okay.
Definitely not going to be free to play.
Anyway,
the last one that I played was 5, so I never actually played 6. What's going to be different about 7? The thing with Civilization
we don't know yet.
they've always been very similar. They're just better graphics, maybe some
Yeah, it's
new
probably just a
mechanics.
graphics update, right? Like,
Not really, no. I don't think you guys have played these, obviously. like 6 is pretty different from 5. Like it's the system of like districts is very, very different. Just like I mean, I have hundreds of hours in 5 and I have hundreds of hours in 6. I can give you a fair adjustment. They're not very similar. Yeah, I am.
That's like-
I love it.
That was probably like three matches.
yeah.
3 matches. Yeah.
honestly, the
I've
screens from
sat
Civ
my
6
butt
look
down
really
and played
cool.
an entire game of Civ and not gotten up and walked away after
Wow,
winning.
they're pretty long, or they can be pretty long. they're
Once you get
hours,
good
for
at it,
sure.
it goes faster.
Honestly, it looks
Yeah.
pretty
Anyway.
interesting in Civ 6. I'm surprised I never played it, so we'll see. Check it out. Hopefully it's on Game
Yeah,
Pass.
People
at
who
least.
like
Yeah,
who like
that's a Game
strategy
Pass
games,
game for me. That would be a good game.
yeah.
All right.
Use you guys after an hour. Promise.
Well, we would be destroyed probably because I mean, I did play 5 and I did like it and I did, but I never got into the like details of the game, which is what the entire game is about.
I
And
mean,
so
you
it's
have to
really
play like
hard.
3 whole games, and then you kind of have an idea of what you're doing. You know,
Yeah,
but
kind of.
once the
But
first
you can
game,
very
you have
easily
no idea.
fumble your way through that game and still play it and get like a little bit out of it, but completely do it wrong.
Yeah.
And you
But
might
still
even
better
win.
than having to get to level 30 and
There's
fucking
more
league before you can play
complicated
ranked.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
It's good combating Smurfs though.
true.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for, right? All right. So next on our list, Lego Horizon. I actually
Yeah.
found this one was pretty cool. I know you guys were kind of like whatever, but I mean, there's a whole slew of the Lego games, and they're very popular, especially in like kids. So like,
Yeah, I mean,
I
so
thought
for
it was
anyone who needs more
cool.
context, it's Horizon Zero Dawn combination with Lego, so it's gonna be, you know, like Lego Star Wars, but Lego Horizon Zero Dawn kind of thing.
well,
but
Zero
it
Dawn's the name
wasn't-
of the first game. I think it's just Lego Horizon, right?
Right, so it's not like a rendition of the game. It's a new story. It's a new tale, right? But it's
Yeah,
in
the
the
Horizon
same
series,
Horizon
so-
Adventures is what
Yeah.
it's called.
So I mean,
So-
that's cool and all. I don't know. Personally, I just did not see that coming. I never saw like the Horizon universe and the Lego universe coming together. It was just like a total surprise to me. Could be fun, you know.
Yeah, I just think
I
there's
agree.
other like franchises they could have done like way before. Like we talked about like Final Fantasy, and again, it doesn't need to be a turn-based RPG. It could just be those characters in a world, that Final Fantasy world, or they could have did like Lord of the fucking Rings. You
Right.
know, like there's
Well, they
just
already
so
have
many
Lego
bigger
Lord of the Rings.
IPs.
They have
You
already.
know,
Marvel,
I don't know, I'm just
Lego,
saying.
Star Wars.
Yeah, they've already done. They've
Harry
done all the
Potter.
Marvel. They've done all the Star Wars. They've done Harry Potter. They've done
they
quite
like
a
God
lot.
of War. This is
Indiana
fucking God of
Jones.
War.
God of War, no.
They
way.
did God
God
of
of
War,
War.
or did? Oh, that would be
No.
cool though. I'm down.
That might be a little too bloody. like,
Think about the Batman franchise. A Batman franchise is not child
friendly God of War.
The children.
Yeah, I
friendly.
mean, the thing, Batman is not a kid-friendly movie, and they've done it with Batman and made it kid-friendly. So any franchise out there that's popular can be Legofied and turned into kid-friendly.
I
you
agree
know.
with that. I think though Horizon was a good call for Sony because it's bringing a very well-known IP that is family-friendly-ish, of more so than God of War, and so it's gonna they're gonna bring in a whole new generation of kids that are gonna grow up with Aloy and
Yeah.
are gonna
The one
want
thing
them
I
to
want to
engage.
say
Yeah.
this
Playing those
means
games,
is that
yeah.
Horizon is here to stay long-term. It is
Right.
it is going to be an IP that Sony continues to invest in. Like, there's no
That's
reason
clear.
to do this if that's not the case.
I should-
So, like, we should expect
should
to see
download
like
that game.
multiple more Horizons in the future.
Yeah,
I'm just
so
sad
this-
there's not going to be another. There's not going to be another Killzone. Resources are, being taken away from more Killzone. Please tell
Yeah,
me you guys have played
Killzone.
Killzone.
long
Is it
time
really
ago.
Killzone Lego Killzone.
Ah,
No, please no.
the disrespect.
That means like several things to me. So now I gotta figure out which one you're talking about.
Can you imagine they haven't released a Killzone in like over a decade, and they're like, "Well, here's your Killzone, Lego." People
Oh,
fucking
man.
buy it.
Oh,
The
God.
same argument would be made that maybe the franchise lives on and they're going to do more in the future.
I mean, I don't think they've they've tanked it completely, but they've clearly sidelined it. Just like like Infamous and all those games that were kind of popular around the PS3 era.
Crisis is getting a remake. Now it's kind of like
Hunt Showdown's getting gonna be on Crysis's new engine.
Crytek.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crytek's
Oh wow!
Crytek's doing the remake, right? So yeah, that'd be dope.
I never
I
played
like
the,
that game,
the
but
original Crisis because I never had like a powerful enough computer as a kid.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
weird that franchise kind of died off, honestly.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
never
Well, they're
played it either.
anyway.
That's a
Moving
non-Summer Games Fest weekend game. We can't talk about
we
it.
need to stay on track, folks.
Alright,
Community
well-
out there, help us stay on track.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can't see what they're saying.
Oh,
Uh,
we'll find a way. Twitter.
Okay, they'll send like a pigeon into the room.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one is Star Wars Outlaws. Wasn't a groundbreaking announcement, but they released a 10-minute gameplay trailer and some other additional like content. So Tyler, you watched it. What do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, I saw two like 10-ish minute releases that they put out, one being like more story based and one being the gameplay trailer. So, or actually both had gameplay in it. But the first one, I got to admit, like the guy's kind of like sitting there walking you through like what a normal level looks like and how the interactions work, and I'm like, like this feels good. It has that cinematic quality where you're like, everything feels super scripted, and like, once you get in the game, it's not going to be like so picturesque as when this guy's walking around. But overall it looks really fun. So like it seems like they're taking this approach where instead of like just getting skill points when you level up, you are making these like connections with real NPC characters in the game that'll teach you these skills, right? So you become a master thief, craftsman, scavenger, or a scoundrel, whatever. But like you do that through making these like scoundrel relationships and underground relationships. So it does look really fun. I'm a little worried it's going to be a little like one of those games where you're like, I don't want to say like you get bored, but you're just like, yeah, cool, I fly. Like Starfield, where you're like
cookie
yep,
cutter.
I'm flying here. I'm riding my bike here. And like everything around me is beautiful, but like, do I feel like what I'm doing actually matters and like I'm progressing? I'm not saying that's not the case, but like I was just kind of like getting a little bit of that feeling. But then that second video they've released made me feel a little bit better because it really does seem like there is quite a variety of landscapes. Just like the balance between like dealing with these illegal underground syndicates and the Imperials sounds like it's going to be really fun. Like you can kind of be like, wanted by these different organizations. So I'm keeping this like kind of Grand Theft Auto Star Wars version in my head, and I'm hopeful that it'll still be quite fun. I do find it funny that he mentioned at the start of one of the videos that it was the first open world Star Wars game, and I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. I cannot think of a single Star Wars game that is open world.
Does an MMO not count?
I guess they're not
count,
counting
right?
the MMO. I get that would be the only.
Yeah, it
I
seems like
can't
one of
think
those
of
things where
any-
you're like, "There's no way that's true," and then you kind of think about it, and you're like, "Well, maybe." But yeah, you're right. Star Wars: The Old
You know
Republic
why
would be
that
the
doesn't
closest
exist
thing.
though? It doesn't exist
Because it's hard.
not because it's
EA?
hard. No, because Lucasfilm is extremely like overbearing with their IP. So everything that Lucas touches around Star Wars has to like remain true to the franchise in every way. That's why like EA and that gets access to the vault and everything. So like all the scans, everything can be like fucking exactly like they are in the movies. Sounds are just like they are in the movies. So like creating an open world game where like it might not be following a specific story, or there's multiple options, things like that makes it harder to kind of control the outcomes a bit. So I assume that is why. Like that's why you like see like, oh, like Star Wars Battlefront, and you're like, oh, why do they have loot boxes? Because there's no way to monetize like through cosmetics, because you're never gonna fucking see Darth Vader running around in Cinderella dress. You know? Like it's just never gonna happen. Lucas is like, fuck that, like So it gets very tricky making Star Wars games because of that. Like everything has to like
Well-
the approval process is insane.
I'm sure it's changed now that Disney is the owner.
No,
Well, and
it's
George
just as
Lucas
bad
is-
because we were doing Star Wars Battlefronts and everything when they were owned by Disney. So Lucas still exists, and it's still a separate entity at Disney. It's all like it's like Disney employees, but Lucasfilm is still its own thing.
Right. It's a sub.
Yeah, so nothing's really changed. It's just that now Disney gets to market more and create more Disney products or like Star Wars branded products, but the IP is still controlled or like protected by it. Like there are literally people at Lucas whose entire job is to know Star Wars lore, so that they can be
would
asked
totally do
if
that.
something is accurate or not. So they like know the books, every fucking piece of canon out there, so that everything is correct.
You know, Star Wars canon is a really complicated topic because that the extended universe is no longer canon. So
It's called Legends now. Yeah.
I know the Legends universe. So it's just yeah, that's a tough job.
But I mean, you know, hopefully that as much as that's a pain in the ass for the developers, like hopefully that keeps a high bar for Star Wars content games. Like I honestly kind of appreciate that because I don't want Star Wars to turn into Call of Duty. You know, where Call of Duty is now you play as fucking Nicki Minaj or some shit.
Oh God.
You know,
No.
I mean, you know,
Minaj
like
with
I
the
love
lightsaber.
Nicki Minaj.
yeah, you know,
I don't want her
like
in my
Nicki-
Star Wars.
Yeah, I like Nicki Minaj too, but like there's like a
I don't
boundary
like her
where
music though.
it no longer
I
feels
don't know if I
like
have an
the
opinion about
original
her as a person.
vision of the game. It's now like this wackadoodle Fortnite fucking soup of shit that's going on that like no longer has any cohesion to it.
Yeah,
But-
it's weird seeing Homelander and Nicki Minaj exchanging gunfire. Very
Right.
weird.
Yeah, it's like totally takes you out of the moment. You're like, okay,
Mhm.
like now I just feel like I'm in this weird universe. But I mean, I'm excited for this game still. Like watching the video, like I didn't see anything bad. You know what I mean? Like, nothing like blew my socks off. But I do like those kind of games, and like I like games that I can jump into and get a little progress in, and you know, even shelve it for like 6 months and come back and feel like I can pick it up and still play it. I think there's a place for games like those, and those are a lot of Ubisoft games. You know, like I love Valhalla. I play Ghost Recon a lot. They're all very formulaic, and I'm very well aware of that. And I think people who play it are, and I think that this game looks good. I think it looks fun and unique.
I saw an article comparing it to the Jedi games, saying I think it was on GameSpot that it reminded them
Wow.
of the Jedi games, and I think that's a good sign because I love the Jedi games. I think they were
Yeah,
solid.
Those are some of the best
Yeah,
ones.
The Jedi Knight series, Jedi Academy,
yeah.
Jedi
I
Outcast.
mean, those are like
Yeah.
infamously some of the best. Like everyone loves those games. People still play the multiplayer version of Jedi Knight.
Oh, wow.
It's such a and they modded it, so it's like it's just chaos. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for that one. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Dustin, you want to kick us off with the Fable?
An old classic.
Yes.
Great game.
So I'm gonna start by saying I've actually never played Fable.
Oh,
But,
why you starting it off?
What?
But this game looks
I've
really
beat-
cool. Actually, I tagged this for myself because at like Comic-Con like 2018 or 17 or whatever, Fable Legends was at the Xbox room in the
Oh, yeah.
Marriott, and it was so fucking cool. That game was so dope. It was like a four people versus someone that who like a boss, but the boss was also controlled by a person, and we sat there and played it for a couple hours actually. And it's such a cool game that it like made me kind of enthralled with the Fable franchise a bit, and I was really disappointed when it got canceled. And so when I saw that a new Fable was coming out, I got pretty excited about it. And so watch the gameplay trailer. It honestly looks really cool. The graphics are pretty dope. Like we don't have a lot of information yet about it, and like Tyler, you can tell us if this like falls into more of like the traditional Fable-esque like game, like from back in the day. But yeah, it's like a magical world. You're gonna follow a person and do shit. So it's very early.
Follow a person and do shit.
That was the best
That's the
video
best.
game
Like
description
any game.
ever.
Like
Like
any
any
game,
video
so-
game ever. Okay,
So, yeah,
so
it's cool, though.
Fable Fable, the first Fable game, they're remaking it, right? Was it was like one of the first, okay, don't get mad at me if I know I'm wrong, but it was basically one of the first games where you could truly like be evil and like not feel like you were just screwing over your whole game. So it was a great RPG. It came out on the Xbox, and it was one of the earlier like really decision-based RPGs that came out. And as you progressed through the game and you made these good or evil decisions, which, when I say this, like, most people are like, yeah, that's part of a lot of games now. Well, at the time it wasn't. This was a really new thing. To have that many like dialogue options on hundreds of quests that would allow you to get negative or positive points as far as your in Fable, it was like your angelic rating or demonic rating. And as you progress through the game, that would actually change your physical form. So by the end of the game, when I was evil, you actually, after a while, you grow horns, and you have blood that just trails you everywhere you go. And when you're max evil, you look really fucking scary. But that goes along with a game that has a little bit of a life sim in it. So you can get married and have houses and districts. You can, you are a traditional hero, and you go do quests and all that. But, this was just, Fable was a really early interpretation of like players having choice. And with this new one, it looks like they're really taking like a comedic spin on it, which I think is smart. And
they've all been comedic.
Yeah, they've all been kind of like comedy-esque, but this is clear. They're clearly like kind of refreshing the comedy that they bring to it, and to show a new generation, like, hey, this is kind of our silly RPG. Enjoy. So yeah, if you haven't played the originals, I highly recommend it. And this should be on everyone's radar coming up, because it's probably going to be quite fun.
I'm surprised it took them so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super excited for Fable. I love this game. I've played all of them. The games are so, they're so iconic to me. Like, growing up and playing these games, I remember sitting down and playing this one for the first time, the very first game. And and the thing is, it's always been very like jovial, very like never takes itself too seriously. A lot of sarcasm, which is hilarious. So like the game is so good, and you're right. Like it gives you a choice. It's like, hey, you're a hero, but you could be a good hero or a bad hero. And I remember there's like, I think it's like the third Fable, where it's like there's this factory worker who's like exploiting his people, his workers. And you have a choice of like, you can side with either the workers or the factory owner, and you could be a dick and make them work like 40 hours a day, or whatever. But like 20 hours a day and shit like that. And it's like that kind of stuff that is just, it's so over the top, but very well done. I'm excited. I'm really cool. And you know what? The thing that I'm really excited about this for is that I would bet money that it's going to be day one Game Pass. So because
that'd be really cool.
So this is like, if you have Game Pass, you already have this game. So there's like no barrier to entry on this. So I'm super excited to play it because I have Game Pass. I mean, it's just too good of a deal.
And they're just doing so well with it. They just keep expanding it so well. Like, this was one of those things like 2 years ago. I was like, Xbox, this could flop, or this could be really useful. And I'm happy now that I could be like, okay, cool, they pulled it off. The Xbox and Xbox Pass is great.
Yeah. I mean,
if this game is technically Fable 4, then there's a 15-year gap between Fable 3 and 4.
That's crazy.
Which is fucking crazy. Because Fable 1, I think, came out in 2005 or 6, and then Fable 2 was 2008, and then Fable 3 was 2010. And we see a 15-year gap between the next one. The next,
this is the fifth game, right? There's one in between.
There's something called Fable Fortune that came out in 2017, but I'm not counting that because it's not technically
Never played that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah, but Fable, I mean, like, I hope they're definitely like a redo, but it's not the same game, obviously, as the first one, so it's not a clean remake, but a fresh set of paint's not gonna hurt.
It's definitely a good opportunity to get a lot more people into it.
Yeah.
And they've been lacking on console selling titles. So this will be big.
Yeah.
Makes me want to play Fable.
That's true. I know. I do want. I like that game. I mean, speaking of Fable, so like console, like Xbox trying to sell consoles, like they're bringing back Perfect Dark, which like 2 or 3 or 4
I
episodes
cannot
ago,
believe you
I called that shit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
They were like, "Hey, what?" Ralph asked, "What question? What game would you want to see like come back?" And I was like, I want to see Perfect Dark make a comeback. Boom! Here we are.
I can't believe they had that in the works.
I know, it was like they knew. And it looks really cool. It's all
Who's
it's always
making
been a Crystal Dynamic, so there's hope. But there's also
Does Rare still exist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing
They do.
Sea of Thieves, aren't they?
Yeah, Rare does do some
yeah.
of these, don't they?
yeah,
I'm just bummed that they're not making it because they made the original.
yeah. They're not exactly the same company they were then, right?
Yeah, that's
They-
true.
But
No,
they're
they're not.
I mean, they're still a good company, but they just make kind of different titles.
Sea of Thieves fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh
I
my
like it.
God.
Hundreds of hours in it.
Hate it. One of my favorite games.
Yeah,
Crappy
we
pirate
play
game.
that more than anything.
I'm just kidding.
But I'm super excited. I watched the trailer and it looks cool. Like it's like the thing with Perfect Dark is it's slightly in the future, so there's kind of like a technology aspect to everything. Everything's a little more technologically advanced, but just slightly. So it's not like Cyberpunk. It's not like we're super far in the future. It's like everything is just a little bit better. There's maybe
Yeah.
like a holograph
Like,
around now, or
30 years in the future,
yeah. Something
I'm
like that.
almost expecting like a Hitman-esque game, right? Where in like Hitman, you kind of like drop in, you have all your gadgets and ways of getting through the
Mhm.
level, and like that's what Perfect Dark was kind of like, right? Like she has all these advanced gadgets and cool things. So you like, you even see in the video like her
Yeah.
recording a person and then using that voice to get into a door. So like I love those games as long as like. Sometimes those games, it's like, oh, you have an illusion of choice, but when you like take a step back, you're like, okay, I can do that thing or I can do that thing.
Yeah, but that's
I
just
had
the
two
puzzle.
choices.
It's
the
just the
Matrix.
puzzle, right? But it looks very like Splinter Cell with more shooting and like first person Splinter Cell kind of stuff.
I hope they
but
do like old Perfect Dark or 007 Easter egg. They probably won't because it's not being made by Rare, but I know in Perfect Dark, I think they put Facility as a multiplayer map in the game from GoldenEye. So it'd be really
Yeah.
cool if they did some kind of like.
I mean,
Easter
Rare's owned by
egg
Xbox
thing.
as well, so like they
True.
could totally do crazy stuff like that. But I'm
Yeah.
excited, and just like Fable, this is probably going to be a day one Game Pass. So I think,
Possible.
I mean, I would be surprised. Perfect Dark is a big title. I mean, it wasn't Xbox exclusive. It was what, N64 back in the day,
It was
but
an N64, yeah.
I mean, they've kind of adopted it. I don't think it's like PlayStation's ever had one, though.
Yeah, I
Curious.
believe it was Xbox exclusive after N64.
This is another huge gap, right? In between the last time we had it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is.
probably-
25
probably
years.
even-
Yeah, because I don't even recall playing that. I just knew
Yeah.
about it. A lot of people talked about it.
It was like when I was a kid, it was like the less played cousin of GoldenEye, right? It was like a first person shooter on the N64. It had a lot of cool things. I don't know if there was multiplayer. I don't think there was.
There was.
Oh
Yeah, there was.
there was.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
me and
wow.
Jake would play it all the time.
Okay,
No,
but
I
it
wouldn't
was,
even
like, the
say less
popular.
played. I think it was just as popular as GoldenEye.
GoldenEye is like a landmark game.
GoldenEye
Perfect
hit
Dark.
legendary status, but at the time when the game came out, they were
Sure.
both very popular. One did,
Good simple times.
you know,
Perfect
Yeah,
Dark
right.
sold
it
3.2 million
persisted.
copies.
Back check
Let's see,
over here.
GoldenEye sold 8 million copies. So no, they're not the same.
I mean, 3 is still a
No,
respectable
they're not.
number. Still a respectable number for that time,
I
especially.
know, that's a lot of copies.
Yeah, that is a lot. All right, moving on. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Yeah.
Roy, take us
I'll
away.
leave this one to you guys.
I mean, that one. The exciting thing is that they basically talked about how they're not going to change much. And I don't think anyone wants to see them do that. What they showed off, what the developer was talking about during the interview, it was all real good stuff. He was telling the original voice actor, "Hey, we have a brand new team making this game. We're going to leave it to the fans to decide, if this is the right team." And then they're just bringing it to current gen, basically. And I think from the way the developers spoke about it during the interview, we can probably expect years to come of more Metal Gear.
Mhm.
So long as it does seem like they're kind of putting that asterisk of so long as it sells well.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I mean that was the big thing. I mean, looking at the gameplay, it looked solid. It looked no pun intended.
I get it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just
But,
poking myself.
yeah, I mean everything just looked true to the original game, and I think that's what the fans would probably want the most. I mean, I already saw a lot of people's feedback was pretty solid. I'm
So
not
this is
as
a
worried.
remake?
5.
Yeah, it's basically a remake. It's basically a remake. It is the first one since 5. Oh, okay, we're not gonna count what they did after 5 because they released that horrible zombie game.
Oh,
that
yeah.
But they can. It was like a DLC that they split into another game, right?
I don't remember exactly. I just know that it was a standalone title, and they launched it, and that game crashed and burned hard as hell. I haven't seen anything crash and burn like that since. Oh god,
Since
I can't even
the,
think of.
Yeah. So Snake Eater was 3, right? That was Metal Gear
Yeah, it was
Solid
3.
But
Okay.
I never
Yeah.
played that one. I played 1, which was the big title, and then I skipped a whole bunch, and then I played 5, and I liked 5. But
4 was really good too.
So do you think
I mean,
they're
they're all
saying
good.
that they're not going to change much because this will be the first non-Kojima?
I mean, he even
Mhm.
mentioned that. He even mentioned how, without mentioning it, he kind of said the original people aren't really here working on this anymore. So no more Kojima, no more any of that. I don't think we're ever gonna see that happen again. I think gamers just need to move on past that dream, of Kojima and Metal Gear.
yeah,
The cool thing is we do know Kojima's next game, the game he's working on next to Death Stranding, is supposedly going to be similar to what he did with Metal Gear. So that's exciting. But I mean,
It's more
I think the
horror-based,
big
though,
news from
right?
this, I'm not sure.
Because
I
it had
don't.
Jordan Peele, and Jordan
There's a
Peele's
couple,
not
I
famous
Yeah, he
for,
did.
for
Yeah.
horror games or for horror stuff. But yeah, I think he's working on 2 different games, right? That aren't.
but he did say he was
Yeah.
working on an espionage game.
Yes. But I mean, everything I think from the remake from Delta looks good. I mean, the gameplay looks great. It looks like they're really sticking to the original, and they're just bringing the graphics and the systems up to date. So, I mean, I think we have to wait to see even more gameplay, but it looked good.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm here for that. Like, if they can bring it and make it look just like, current gen beautiful Metal Gear game with which I hear Snake Eater is like one of the better ones.
Yeah.
So like I'm so here for it, and they're just gonna sell. And the thing is too is I think this is like they're testing the waters, right? You're right, because Kojima's gone, and they're not gonna give him back that IP not for a lot of money. And
What if this one fails? Do you think they'd sell it to him cheaper? If it fails, they sell it back to him cheaper and be like, "Hey, we get like 20% of like the revenue if you make another one."
That's an
Something like
interesting
that.
what if. I think if it completely and utterly died, like if it like not a single soul bought this game, yes, I think that could happen. But I don't see that happening. And I also think that even if this one didn't do great, I think they would still hold on to the IP because it's just such a moneymaker. People are gonna buy it for the name. They're gonna buy
There's
it for
also
the
a
name
lot
alone.
of bad blood, right? I think between Kojima and Konami. So is it
Really?
Konami?
I feel like he's also moved on. I can't see Kojima
He's
wanting
just
to
like I'm
make.
bigger than you at this point.
Yeah, that's true. That's also
Well, that's
true.
guy's Keeley like freaking blows this dude up every time he's on does
Yeah.
anything. He has this like prime
Yeah.
time spotlight.
Here's
Yeah.
6 minutes of him being translated.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like shocked he wasn't at the fucking Summer Games Fest in some way.
Yeah, I know. It's like I love Hideo Kojima's game, but if you like completely let him off the chain, like you get things like Death Stranding, it's just like, all right, like I get the art in this, but
Very artistic.
yeah, you're like this is a little too far.
And I mean, I think Dustin knows, like, I was one of the biggest Kojima fanboys for the longest time. Then Death Stranding came out, and I acknowledge it's a good game, cinematic, story seemed great, but, I'm playing a video game. It did not feel very video game-ish.
Well, that's the thing.
Could've
I would
been-
say like it wasn't a good video game. Like it was a good like like tool to tell a story that was more cinematic, but like video game, like a interactive experience. Maybe not.
I mean, he should have
know?
made the game shorter. If he had cut the game into like an 8-hour or maybe like 8 to 12-hour experience, I think people would have raved about it. But the fact that it was like a 40 to 60-hour game, people were
Well, it's
like
40 hours
dude,
and then like fucking 30 hours of cinematics.
yeah, right. You're like, dude, I get it. The message is clear. Like, if he would have chopped that down to 8 hours, I bet you that game would have got a 10 out of 10. Because they're like, okay, like I get it. He was trying to tell some story. He was, there's wacky doodle characters and there's all these fun things and stuff like that. And it's really cool that you can do all these like stuff. But the fact that it just took so fucking long and it seemed like it like straight up disrespected your time is what killed that game.
Sorry.
You
sorry.
drop your
Yeah,
dead.
you're right.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
It's a thing now.
Got it.
All right, moving on.
Recorded.
Oh.
Assassin's Creed Shadows gets a
All right,
gameplay
I'm
trailer.
gonna start this one too by saying I have never played an Assassin's Creed game.
Damn this
Piece of
man.
shit.
Just quit the
Damn,
podcast and go
piece of
play
shit.
some video games right now.
So, I've been claiming all the ones I've never played, which is great. But I claim this one because I really love feudal Japan, like back in the day games. Like I've
period
raved
Japan.
about like Ghost of Tsushima like nonstop on this podcast. So yeah, the gameplay trailer dropped during the Xbox showcase. I think they showed even more during the Ubisoft showcase as well. But yeah, the game looks phenomenal. Like it gets like super big Ghost vibes. I'm shocked that they haven't done one of these before in like this setting. And I thought the gameplay trailer was really neat because, a lot of the controversy around this game, other than like the fucking idiots who are mad that he's black, is that, like, oh, it's fucking Assassin's Creed. He's supposed to be stealthy. Doesn't make sense. So it was awesome that they actually like showed like, hey, when you're the ninja, it's going to be very stealthy. You're going to be in the bushes. You're going to be killing people through like doors. But then when you play the samurai, it's going to be like brute force. Like he's in the courtyard, like fucking hacking down 5 people at once. And so it was like just a really different experience between the two characters. And I thought that was great that they showcased that. I think there will probably be people out there who say they did that purposely after the backlash to try to show that disparity between the characters, but I'd be very surprised if that was actually the case because these trailers take a long time to make and it was probably already storyboarded out before then. But who knows? Maybe they were thinking ahead and knew there was already going to be some kind of backlash around the different characters and the way they're played, so they thought ahead and were doing this. But either way, home run. In my opinion, really glad that they showcased it that way. I think the game looks great and can definitely say it will be the first Assassin's Creed game that I purchase.
Very cool. Well, I'm very excited for this game. I've played all the recent Assassin's Creed games and I've really liked them. I spent a shit ton of time in Valhalla. And so, being in feudal Japan is going to be super cool. Roy, does this move the needle for you at all?
So I mean, this I'm kind of the opposite. I played a bunch of the old ones. I love the Altair. I love the Ezio trilogy. I loved Connor. It kind of died off for me once we hit what was the French Revolution on Unity?
Yeah,
I think it was yeah. Unity is kind of like when I didn't end up taking a break. I still bought the next one, which I think was when we went to Egypt.
Yep.
Mirage. Yeah, and that's when they no, Mirage is Iraq. Mirage was the first one I was gonna buy since I stopped buying them after the Egypt one. So I didn't buy Valhalla. I didn't buy Odyssey.
Odyssey was actually one of my favorite. Most recent ones.
I did hear good things.
Hours into it.
Yeah, I did hear good things. So I gotta jump back into it because I know I'm apparently missing out because people are saying they're still good. I've had multiple friends recommend them to me. So
it's actually Valhalla, the one that I didn't love that much. I tried hard and I need to go back and try again because you liked that one, Alex. And I think I could, but like once again, I actually didn't feel like I was in any way an assassin. Like in Valhalla,
No, you're not.
a literal, Viking. Like
It has
you
nothing-
run in, like
I was gonna mention that it's like since Odyssey, I would say that the assassins part of Assassin's Creed has become
It's loose.
secondary.
Yeah.
It's like they're like, yeah, the Assassin's Creed stuff's still happening, but it's like on the side. Like in
it's so
Valhalla,
mystical
you're
too.
like one of your friends is actually the assassin. You're not even the assassin, and he's like starting the assassins from like the very beginning. Like he's like one of the first people, in the assassins, Creed.
It's such a natural. I feel like Japan is such a natural place for this series to have gone. So like, I feel like they're setting themselves up to have like a real hit here. If it's fun,
Yeah, I mean, I'm for sure getting it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one I dive into as well. It looked solid from the landscape, the architecture, like I was talking about earlier, the way they're assassinating people through those, panels in the buildings.
Yeah.
Like it's so perfect for Assassin's Creed.
Hype.
Yeah, and there was actually an anime based off of the same character called Afro Samurai on Netflix.
Oh yeah, Afro Samurai is great.
I've seen it several times.
Yeah, I've seen it too a bunch of times, and it's the same character. So it's going to be that same kind of like thing. So I'm interested to see what they do differently with it.
I will say though, like I have a friend playing through Odyssey right now, and he was telling me how he misses, blending into the crowds and killing someone from the crowd, or sitting on a bench, or being, in a little bush, and then taking someone out and dragging them in there. That's like the stuff that I miss.
I do too. I think there's a conversation to be had. Maybe when this game comes out, we can talk about that more on the episode. Roy will definitely have you on that episode, and like we could talk about like what is Assassin's Creed's like lineage, because I agree. I think there's a piece missing, or not missing, but it's changed.
It's now like a history game, which is not a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
And I love it for what it is. I love Odyssey. I love. Why can't I remember the name of the Egypt one? It's
I can't either. Origins? Was it Origins?
Origins.
Yeah, Origins.
Thank you. But I love them. But yeah, it's like your story. You're kind of getting away from the assassin part of things.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Gears of War E-Day. I'm personally pretty excited for this one. I'm a big Gears of War fan. The last few have kind of trailed off, though, in my opinion. So Gears of War 1 has always been a staple in my mind. When I think of Xbox, it's one of the first things, along with Halo, that I think of. So I'm really excited to see what they move on with this. I've played all of them. I think it's 6. Is there 5 or 6 games?
Really? Shit, I thought there was like 4. I've not played all of them.
Let me back check real quick.
When I think Gears of War, I think
this is 6. Okay.
Chainsaws on the guns and big buff dudes.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
The guys that are way too thick.
So,
yeah,
Space Marines.
Yeah,
Warhammer. It's everywhere.
Yeah, basically. I played Gears of War 1, 2, 3. In my opinion, were like amazing games. 4 was a little bit of a miss. 5 came back and was actually very strong. So I'm very curious. Like none of them have been none of them have been bad. 4 is the closest to bad, I think, and a lot of people would fight me on that. So the fact that they're coming out with a new one is very exciting, and it's a prequel, so we get to see young Dom and young Marcus. So that'll be really cool.
I always remember playing Dom.
This is for sure a day one Game Pass. So because Xbox owns Gears of War rights, so another freebie. I think all of the Gears of War games, or at least most of them, are on Game Pass right now. So this would be a good time for you to like pick them up and do a run through, because
they're fun games for sure.
They're good games. They're fun.
We should play co-op those.
I'm down. They always had really good co-op.
Yeah, that's why I was Dom. We were playing brothers.
Yeah,
I remember very specifically. That and like Army of Two, right? That was another game that was all about like 2 players being buff dudes killing dudes with guns.
Yes, that's another game that needs a remake. It'll never happen. But that one needs a remake. That one, and you know what? And Mercenaries.
I was about to say Mercenaries. I was like, fuck Army of Two, Mercenaries. Now that would be sweet. But then we have Lost Just Cause though. Like Just Cause is basically Mercenaries.
Yeah, but it didn't hit the same. I actually think that the current Ghost Recons are very close to Mercenaries, just without the funny satirical stuff. You
That was
know,
what
like,
the fun part of it. You
that
were a
was the best
criminal
part.
in those
or the,
games.
yeah,
not-
the fact that you could
not
call
get
in
to
like a
special
nuclear
forces.
bomb airstrike, and like you're just like, you see like an outpost, you're like, I don't want to take that on. Laser designated fucking nuke. Like,
The
Drop-
campy
drop
stuff is
bows
the
on 'em.
fun stuff.
yeah, but anyways, I'm excited to see Gears of War. I'm excited to play it on Game Pass. Another game that I now already basically own. So excited for all that. Next up, Dragon Age: The Veilguard. So I feel like
Yes.
there's a lot of big fans for these games. So
Dragon Age, I mean, it's a huge RPG franchise. Like, people love Dragon Age Origins, another Origins. Dragon Age Origins is one of the most, like, beloved RPGs. Funny enough, at being the huge RPG fan I've never been able to get more than a couple hours into any Dragon Age game.
That's the same with me.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know. I just can't do it. But every single time a new one comes out, I still buy it and I still try. And I'm gonna do the same thing this time.
yeah,
We didn't get a lot of information. It mostly was a trailer showing that this is clearly going to be very heavily centered around your crew. And not that that wasn't an important part of the other games. It just seems like they're really making that the epicenter of this game. So hopefully we get some cool stuff, and I could get more than a few hours in.
yeah. No, I'm the same way. Like, it's always been one of those RPGs that's like defining of the genre. But I like Origins. I only got halfway through, and which was pretty far. But it's like it's so dense that I almost felt like I was like, oh, I'm like out of breath. Like I went for a jog because of how dense the story is and how complicated all the characters are. It's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of like Baldur's Gate 3, where it's like a very dense, very good, very solid
I know,
game.
Baldur's Gate, I'll like walk my character 50 feet and it'll be like a 3-hour experience because I'll run into 10
Yeah,
events.
exactly.
I was like, I haven't moved,
Yeah,
Give me
you're
a
still in
chance.
this like same little corner of the map. Exactly. But I mean, when did the last Dragon Age come out?
Inquisition.
Oh yeah,
that was a while
Inquisition.
ago too. No,
I played that
Yeah.
one.
It was really good. It was the
2014.
one, I would say it was
So-
the one I had the best chance of really enjoying. I think I played like 10 hours of it.
I almost beat Inquisition. But the same exact thing happened. It was just like, it's just a lot. But that's a lot of people like that about that game. But it's been over
Yeah.
10 years, and this is just the announcement. But the thing is, the trailer was so sparse that it's probably going to be another 2 or 3.
I'm guessing like 3 minimum years. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they announced a date.
I don't think so. One cool thing that I just noticed though about this cycle of announcements is that we're actually seeing a lot of these older franchises that haven't come out with games in 10 plus years getting a new game. Like I said, like we
That's
knew Dragon
huge.
Age
Yeah.
was being made like 5 years ago. A new one, like they again showed like a still during the Game Awards back in like 2019. But that's all we've heard since then. But it's been 10 years. We've had 24 years since Perfect Dark, 15 years since Fable, like a real
A
Fable
lot of
game.
old franchises.
Yeah.
Skate also hasn't been around in a long time. I mean, even like the return of EA college football. It's the first college football game in like a long ass time. So, like, I know people don't like, they want new ideas. I don't know though. I feel like in movies and stuff, we like new ideas more, but in games, I think it's refreshing to see these old titles come
Mhm.
back that are like beloved and kind of get the next generation of gamers interested. Except Killzone, because that game fucking sucks.
Getting called out. Well, they did announce a release date. It's gonna be fall of this year, so it's
Oh, wow.
actually coming like soon.
oh okay.
So that's exciting. A lot of
This
these
is for Dragon Age.
Dragon Age.
You know who it's
Wow.
worrying that they didn't show
No
any gameplay? Yes,
Yeah.
that's weird to me.
I would
It's
take
always
it
a-
with a grain of salt.
Weird.
Okay.
That just screams they're gonna push it back, but we'll see.
EA though has
Take your
also
time.
more recently, like since COVID, or even before COVID, they started doing EA Play, and like EA has never really relied on these big events to announce their games. It's usually a time they'll show gameplay. Like when I was working on the Battlefield franchise and like Jedi Fallen Order, we never like revealed the game at something like this, we always usually revealed it in May, and then we'd show like a gameplay trailer around this time. So it is weird that we don't have a little bit more, but they might be saving it for Gamescom, and it could be like a really late launch. It could be like November. I'm sure that they'll try to get the game, at least copies of the game, available by like the end of October for press, because they'll want it to be included in Game of the Year voting. But if it misses the cycle, it'll just be included next year. But it's kind of like a death sentence for awards if like you just missed the cut. Like your game comes out in like November and you just missed the window to be able to submit. It's like by then so many new stuff has come out, your game's been forgotten. But we'll see. I know they're going to probably try to push to have it available for Game Award nominations.
Yeah, good point. So excited to see what comes of that. And kind of the last of our big titles, or at least what we considered our big titles, is Doom. Doom got a new game, Doom Dark Ages. I'm a big Doom fan.
Yeah.
And this one looks really cool. It's another, shoot 'em up, like wild shoot 'em up game. But it takes place in the Dark Ages. So you're like a old timey Doom, Doom guy killing demons and saving the Earth again. And I'm all for it. I mean, Doom has never been a very complicated game. You just big.
You see, they added like a dragon though. He's like riding a dragon at the end. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what this crazy stuff they do. Like in the last game, you shoot yourself out of a cannon onto Earth, and like it's just and then like a big cannon, right? And
that's what it's about.
Yeah, and like they had a gun where you take like a skull and you put it in this like meat grinder and it shoots skull fragments out and like shotguns everybody. I'm just like, that's what I'm here for. I'm here for the absurdity and just massive demon killing.
It's just about having fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That medieval feel is also there though. It looks so good. Did you see the little spiked mace he had and everything? I forgot what they're called. It's so good. Yeah, flail. Yeah.
I gotta look it up. I actually didn't watch that trailer.
Yeah.
We didn't have to watch
I'm super excited. So, total tangent from what we're talking about, but Doom. Have you guys played Hellblade 2 yet? It's the new game.
No.
Like it came out
I played one
a month ago. So, probably to date, like probably one of the most beautiful games ever created. It's made in Unreal Engine 5.
What game?
It's a very short game, and probably by design because it's so dense. But but it just shows the power of Unreal Engine.
Yeah,
it just shows how amazing, how beautiful it is. It's on Game Pass, and Doom 3, which is the one that was like more horror based, where you're the guy on Mars and you're kind of like everything's dark and gloomy and you have a shotgun and you're kind of like, it's not exactly like Dead Space level, but it's definitely more creepy and grimy. I was like, man, I would love to see a remake.
For some reason, you're getting an echo right now, Alex.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, Roy, for whatever reason, you're lighting up when he's talking. It's kind of like a slight echo.
Okay, I'll talk quieter. But I would love to see Unreal Engine 5 version of Doom 3. Just putting that out there, putting it into space because I want to see it next year.
Right.
I was right about Perfect Dark, and I want to be right about this.
This looks sick. Honestly, I'm watching it right now.
Yeah,
it's like it's a grim dark setting. Like, it's just the grim dark setting's perfect for Doom.
Yeah, it's just like, and it's id Software, which is owned by Microsoft, so it's going to be another Game Pass game, I believe. So there's on this list we have already a handful of really good games this year to justify Game Pass for me. So I'm really excited to see all these coming out. Cool. So that's it for our top quote unquote 10, even though I don't think it was 10. But we're gonna move on to now talking about our most exciting. Actually. Oh, it was 10?
Yeah.
Wow, we got lucky. We didn't actually count anything. We just kind of created our top list. We're gonna talk about our favorite expansions that were announced, and then if we have time, which I can see we're probably not, so I'm not even gonna continue. We're just gonna talk about our most exciting expansion. So there was a lot of cool expansions announced this time. I'm gonna start with Fallout 76, even though I don't think any of us give a shit.
Hey.
Fallout 76 announced an expansion years after the game's been relevant. I guess you could play as a ghoul. Is the big thing though? Is you can actually be a ghoul now. Okay. They're totally trying to get a quick cash grab off of the Fallout TV show though. And there's
Yeah.
like, I don't think anybody would deny it at this point. They're like, just trying to get like they didn't think that Fallout 76 was gonna be popular again, and it was. And they're like, let's just shove some shit. I mean, they probably already had this in the pipeline for a long time, but the timing was definitely
It's
set
convenient for
around
sure.
Fallout, and now they're like trying to shove it through the door because they're like, we need to capitalize on this before people forget.
It was definitely planned. I mean, I'm sure they were working on it side by side, and we're like, oh fuck yeah, like we're gonna have this update. Like I doubt like they're
Mhm.
like we're gonna make a movie and come out with expansion like early on at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But definitely we're probably like looking to leverage one another. They probably weren't expecting necessarily that it would be this way though, right? Or where it'd be like
Mhm.
Fallout show would be so popular that it'd drive people to the games. They're probably hoping like, well, if the show isn't quite as popular as we're hoping, like maybe like putting out some content will drive people to go check it out because they'll be reinterested in the franchise. So, yeah, just kind of, I mean, it worked out really well for them. And I still need to watch the show. I've never been a Fallout guy, so I just haven't made time. And frankly, I don't make time for much TV right now. But yeah, I'll eventually get around to watching it.
Yeah. Well, I think they just need to let Fallout 76 die. They
But
just need to
a
let
certain-
they just-
I love it.
But to a game you do like, Sea of Thieves is getting an update, it looks like.
yeah, Dustin.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see like if like we saw like this really insane ship that like shoots fireballs, and that's really all we saw. And this like trailer, there wasn't a ton there.
become a villain. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting though. Like it had like some Reaper vibes, so maybe like Reaper will be more prominent in this next update. But I mean, the thing I get most excited for right now with Sea of Thieves is obviously the Tall Tales. So I hope that this is a new Tall Tale, and if not, I hope they do one of these like really cool story collaborations that they've been doing. Like we got Pirates of the Caribbean, and then we got Monkey Island, and Pirates was definitely better in my opinion between the two. Monkey Island was still a lot of fun. There was a little bit too much running around on some of the tales, where like it just felt like busy work more than like engaging content, which I hate because like that's one of the major reasons why like I don't like WoW anymore because I don't like just doing dailies and shit like that. But yeah, I'm excited for this content. And I hope that I still have my fingers crossed that one day we're gonna get a One Piece Tall Tale because that'd be fucking awesome.
That
That
would
would-
bring me to Sea of Thieves.
It fits
sure.
perfectly.
Yeah, it's
That
like,
would-
it
That
should
would break
absolutely be.
servers.
Yeah, it should be happening, and I hope it does. If it doesn't, that's just a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah. That's
But I think
Dustin's
there are
will.
some other cool stuff out there. They could do like a really cool like Peter Pan collab. There's a lot of, there's tons of awesome pirate stories out there that they could bring to the game. So I hope they keep doing that because it's fun, new content.
Yeah.
We
I'm gonna
gotta-
hop back on. It looks like it's a new ship. It looks like it's a bigger ship. So we've only had the 3 ship types since the beginning, like
Yeah.
years. Like it's, I don't know, more than 5 years.
Do they have the player base to have even bigger ships for even more people to play? Like, I'm curious what the player numbers are like.
With PlayStation 5 being available now as a game, that they're probably hoping there's a huge influx of players.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm looking forward to adding another ship to show me your booty. So that's
That's the name of our clan.
that's our
our
clan
guild or
name.
whatever.
And
Alright, okay.
I'll let you
What-
guess which one of us named it.
Dustin!
yeah. And then what are our ship names? We got
We have
Crazy
Trash
Ivan.
Dumpster Fire.
Oh no, Dump Truck. We have Dump
Dump
Truck
Truck.
because she got a big old booty. And then Crazy Ivan.
Crazy
I think.
Ivan. Because that's the when you drop down the anchor and you do a 180, it's called a Crazy Ivan. So we're like,
Oh.
that's from Firefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for this because we'll definitely play it as a group again.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
you should
19K.
give it a chance, man.
I love Sea of Thieves. I just don't play with anyone.
Oh, well,
I
yeah,
think
us.
it's... Yeah, I would be down. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's such a like that's the game that we like to play like when we're like relaxing because like honestly like I do this more like I'll just be sitting here like talking with Alex and like just shooting the shit, and Alex will actually be sitting there trying to like do the tall tale, and I'm just like, I don't even know what part of this you're on, where you're at on the island, like what you're doing, because like
And it
Sea of
doesn't
Thieves
matter
for me
if you
is just
fail.
yeah, it's just so like anti competitive, like what the normal game is. Like there's no rank, there's no like grind, like there's no like, oh my god, we gotta win this match. It's just like it's more like you're just hanging out with your friends while playing a video game. Like it's just like
Mhm.
you know, it's just so effortless.
Do you like the PvP in it?
Yeah, it's fun. I
Yeah,
I
we-
like to like just ram ships and like steal their shit. Alex is more friendly. He likes to just like that seemed like a nice group. Let's just leave them alone.
Yeah, I used to be that way, but now if we played more and more and more, now we're like, fuck it, fire! You
Yeah.
know, like, let's shoot each other under the ship.
Fuck them.
Fuck it.
The PvP mode though it's fun. It's not like the best. I like the open world more, like when you run into people on the map. But we've had some fun with the actual PvP mode too.
All right, moving on. Roy, talk about World of Warcraft.
Oh god, the World of Warcraft guy. I mean, what were the? It's what we expected. People have been predicting on the subreddits and just Discord, whatever. Everyone kind of figured it was going to be August. If you just looked up at the dates, the lineups, there were a lot of predictions it would be August. So, I mean, it's no surprise. It just means people got 2 months to get ready. I mean, things are looking good. I know and I don't know how many people play WoW, or who play WoW, but basically, I know there's some little bit of backlash right now on some changes they're making to their mythic system or the dungeons in the game. But I mean, outside that, the game has looked pretty solid. I think
What's the
Dragonflight.
theme for this one? This next expansion.
It's they're gonna do a whole trilogy, so now it's all gonna be tied in into like Titan lore, the Void. We haven't really had like a serious. I can't think of any expansion or any point in WoW where I was like, wow, the Void is the big bad now, and they're
Yeah, it's because they killed everyone else, so
Yeah.
they really do got to fight the void.
Yeah,
once
exactly.
Sargeras was dead. Like, you really only had a few options.
Yep. But anyway, they just put us in limbo with him. They just said, "Hey, look, Illidan is going to fight." And what was the cutscene? We just end with Illidan there in front of Sargeras, and then that's just they're off in La La Land. Yeah. But I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's continuing the trends, I think, of Dragonflight and Dragonflight.
Dragonflight's been good.
Yeah, I think it brought back WoW into a really good place in terms of the retail version of the game.
I would
So-
say it's definitely the most successful. It feels like WoW is the most successful Blizzard game right now. Like, out of all the
Ever.
Blizzard games,
It's like one of the
yeah.
most successful games ever.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right,
no,
we're
I just
moving
mean,
on.
like, okay.
Destiny 2, speaking of games that are almost exactly like this, Destiny 2 has their new the new expansion that came out. Wait. You gotta
Yes.
Every time you hit that, for those who don't know, every time he hits his mic stand, it makes that sound. That's why we play that.
It's not. You got me the wrong one. You should have got me one that
You
hangs
got
up.
me the wrong
I
one.
got
Get your
I
own.
asked you specifically what type you wanted. You said you wanted that one. Anyways,
I do
moving
like
on.
it. I do like it.
Destiny 2. So they announced their new Echo system, and what's really interesting about this is like they have like episodic. It used to be seasonal. Now they're calling it episodes. And so with the final shape, which is the current expansion, once you go through the entire campaign, it's like the end. That's the end of their Light and Dark series. That's the end of Destiny 1 and basically Destiny 2. Like they made it that way, and so this is kind of how they're continuing this next year, and they're hinting at what they're going to do next year. But basically what happens is you defeat the big baddie, and it fractures like reality, essentially, because his whole power was that he can like manipulate reality, but he was trying to like make the entire universe a statue to make it perfect. Anyways, doesn't matter. But when you destroy him, it like fractures kind of parts of reality, so you have these echoes, which are these like warped pieces of space. And so they're using that as an opportunity to make more narrative. Is it cool? I don't know yet. We'll see. I've been burned a lot by Destiny, so I'm hoping it's cool. The game is, fun and frustrating. So I'm excited to see. But just like you were talking about in WoW, they have to they've beaten the big bad, and so now they have to start fucking making up what's the next big bad. And so they're just kind of like, oh, there's a new race or something. We don't know. I don't know. They're just kind of pulling shit out of their ass. So we'll see where it ends up going. Next, did you want to say something?
What about that Diablo 4 expansion, though? I'm sorry, Diablo 4 feels like it's in a really good place for Blizzard. It feels like it's in a really good place.
It's nice to get this refreshing take on Diablo 4 because everyone else on this podcast is like, "Yeah, it fucking sucks."
No, dude,
we're actively playing it. If we're
I'm playing
that.
it. I'm probably gonna play it after this episode.
Yeah, but you're a glutton for punishment.
That is
You're
true.
just fucking
True.
Misery loves company.
Oh no, man! It is in
old WoW fucking videos right now while we're watching now. Just talking about WoW.
Leroy.
Yeah. The Diablo 4 new expansion, and excited to see it. I was surprised. I didn't know if they were gonna drop something like that this soon. And I'm very happy for it.
And they dropped the pets already.
Did they?
Oh,
yeah,
right.
you can go grab a pet. Yeah.
I'm going right now. Baby, I'm gonna go do it. That's exciting. I think Diablo 4, and I've talked about this in the past. I don't think the season
I want a new class.
loop works very well for Diablo 4. I think a yearly or even a yearly expansion job with a lot of content, and then something you could grind out at the end of the year would be a lot better. And so I really like this, and I hope they do more. I want to see Diablo 4 be a long-term success for them.
Yeah.
I love Diablo. I love the Diablo series. Diablo 4 had some, like I said, I really love the campaign, but they didn't, after the campaign was done, it kind of was just, done. Which is weird, which for most games would be fine, but this game was kind of designed to continue. And you can see that in, every aspect of the game, but it didn't,
it wasn't
up.
fun. Yeah.
So I'm hoping this fixes a lot of those problems. I'm really liking the current season. I have another max level character, and I'm ready. Roy, you can play with us.
Dude, I'm on that game 24/7. It's a huge problem. It's a huge problem.
Dang, we should play.
Yeah, I'm down.
Next up, Starfield. I'm going to talk about this one real quick and we'll move on. They have a new expansion, a lot more of the same stuff. If you like Starfield, you probably like this. If you don't like Starfield, probably not going to like this.
Game fucking
Good
sucks.
Game fucking okay, but we have a good point on that one.
That was not a joke. Not a joke.
At least I've played it. Dustin.
I actually played it again recently, and I kind of was like, hey, yeah, I kind of like this again.
Night Springs did look cool. Night Springs did look cool.
Alan Wake 2. I have it downloaded it right now on my PlayStation because that was my game of the year when it came out, which was last year. So I'm so excited for this new thing. Is anybody else gonna play it?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah,
I still
Roy.
need
I still
Alan
need
Wake
to beat
Alan Wake 2, but I will probably play it.
Oh yeah. So it's Night Springs is their Twilight Zone in the game, it's a show, and so these are non-canon spin-off events from other characters. So you play as I totally forgot her name. Jesse from Control, the bar the waitress,
the waitress,
and who's the other one? There's a third person. I don't remember off the top of my head, but you play as 3 totally different characters in the game, and I'm very excited for it. And that game can do no wrong in my opinion.
Yeah, do they even have Anderson and Wake in this? I didn't see them in it.
Probably not. I think maybe we'll have to play and find out.
I mean, and it's totally fine. I mean, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks super. I mean, they're just such a creative studio. Anything Sam Lake makes now will be on the lookout for.
Oh yeah, he's super famous now after everything.
Yeah,
and it happens when you put yourself in the game. All right, final one. Power World's getting an update. New island, new raid.
Pals are definitely fucking dead. They're
all dead. Oh, they're so dead.
The amount of neglect is insane. We got CPS coming for us. It's fucking all bad.
Yeah, I know,
right?
CPS.
Power World Protective Services.
Yeah. Okay, some very, very quick honorable mentions. There was a Quidditch game.
Yes.
No More Room in Hell 2 looked pretty cool. The first Descendants looked kind of cool. Blumhouse has a bunch of new games.
Expedition 33.
Expedition 33. Skate was announced. New Skate.
Yeah.
Well,
Dune
that was already
Awakening.
announced, but they finally showed some gameplay. It's
They
a
showed some gameplay.
pre-alpha gameplay.
Yeah, of course it did. Dune Awakening got a story beat, which is pretty cool. Kingdom Come Deliverance had some stuff. Delta Force Hawk Ops. This really ridiculous game called Killer Bean.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up for sure. Look up Killer Bean. Wanderstop, The State of Decay 3, and Age of Mythology all got kind of shout outs. There's a few other games and stuff, but we're not going to talk about it there. You guys got any last minute things to say? What?
Nope.
You know?
It's
Yeah,
exciting
Bastion,
game.
Shadowlands Afterlives video is fucking sick. I'm watching it right now because we're talking about WoW, dude. This video is so fucking sick, dude. I've watched this 100 times.
Good God.
Do you want to see him punished?
I mean, thank you guys for having me on. Also, I'll give a little shout out to Inotria, the last song. They put out that trailer for it, new Dark Souls-like game. They dropped a demo same day. I played through it. Looks great.
Wow.
Feels great.
You heard it here first. That's great.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. I lost my little thing that I'm supposed to say at the end. Stall. Oh, here we go. All right, thank you all for listening. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to be notified when we post new episodes. We post new episodes every Tuesday morning on podcast services and YouTube. You can also find us on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at Pixelated Realms Podcast. Thank you very much.